Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 18th of April, the first important news, that is second G20 Health Working Group meeting, which was held in Goa. It's actually started in Goa. Second, India to host summit on Buddhism. Third, coastal species are living on plastic debris in the ocean. This is from the text and context page of the Hindu. Second last, G7 nations to reduce global greenhouse emissions. And the last is an editorial, that is a terror of narco network. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. And if you're planning for both prelims and mains test series, we at Apti Plus is providing you integrated test series that call for 30 prelims plus 8 mains all India test. And these tests are based, also include the part of the PYQs, current affairs, CSAT and full length test. You'll also avail the free IS Gazette magazine, a must read for current affairs, free mentorship, and the flexible date as per the test schedule will be there as per your convenience also. I've provided a dedicated link in the description section of this video where you can find more details and register for this course. Now starting the session with the first news, that is second G20 Health Working Group meeting, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So recently a second Health Working Group meeting of G20 has begun in Goa. As you know, India is the current chair for G20, and India will definitely look for all important verticals that is essentially required for a holistic development. So there's time for health. Recently, there was also a meeting with regards to the environment and other part. Now health is a focus. Now the meeting actually focused on the need for collaborative surveillance, community protections, safe and scalable care, access to medical countermeasures, and emergency and coordination. We have seen that during COVID-19, what was the situation? Even the situation was worse. Even the basic amenities were not there in the hospital. So this is the time to strengthen the part of the India's healthcare structure, both in terms of infrastructure and also in terms of manpower. The health secretary has noted that it was time to substantially do more in healthcare sector and especially prevent which is under finance. So finance is again a big issue. Definitely if G20 members are collaborating, it will be a right time to have a proper coordinations and collaborations. Now India has also raised the issues of intellectual property right, that is IPR issues with the public health emergency. So during the public health emergency, the issues of IPR was also a concern, and this is something which has been relevantly in their concern for many other countries also. Now, priority areas की अगर बात करें, if you see the part of the meeting which is taking place under the G20, so the working group has three important priorities. First is tackling future health emergency, like even pandemic and any other thing can be included here. Building a manufacturing network of vaccines. India is already one of the largest manufacturers of the vaccines. Even medicines and diagnostics. So these three verticals need to work simultaneously, and leveraging the digital solutions to provide universal health coverage. Government has come up with a good number of health coverage schemes. So everything will be integrated, and on a global level, these universal coverage, जो health की coverages हैं, वो भी बढ़ाने की जरूरत है. Now, medical tourism is very important. If you see India in particular, medical tourism as a destination which most countries prefer. India is recognized worldwide for its excellence in medical tourism, and medical tourism in India has boosted significantly in past years, and has attracted a remarkable result, right? If you see the number of tourists coming to India for medical purposes or for medical treatment is over 1.4 million, and people visiting country for the treatment of the last year, right? So the number has increased over the time. During COVID-19, there are certain restrictions. That is the reason we have seen downfall during that year. Now, what has led India to promote it medical tourism, and why foreign patients are coming to India? There's some specific reason to that. Among them, the first is like 80 to 40% of the cost saving which is there, right? Even high qualified doctors are there and the caretakers are there, advanced technological treatments, internationally accredited medical facilities, fluent English speaking medics there, no waiting list period, rich traditional therapies combines with holidays and business trips. And these are some of the reasons why India medical tourism is mostly promoted. If you're writing in mains paper, make sure you can incorporate the part of the points that you can write there. Now, technical sessions रखी गई हैं इस मीटिंग के अंदर. There are 3 technical sessions. The first session will focus on health emergency prevention preparedness, with delegates will be discussing the part of collaborative surveillance system, advanced network of laboratories, and relevant infrastructure. The discussion will center on embedded antimicrobial resistance as a part of any health emergency governance system that is being complemented on each efforts and at the government level also. Now the second and third, for the second, it focus on creating a better collaborations with access and availability to safe, effective and quality countermeasurement, and the discussion center is for public-private partnership, triple P model पे काम करने की बात की गई है, so that there can be an international collaboration and networks of platform. Now, third is the third session will include the discussions on draft outcome, which will exclusively be for G20 members, and even it emphasizes for census that should be made on evidence-based, inclusive, fair, equitable, and transparent, need-based in terms of the medical healthcare sector. Now, moving to the other news, India to host summit on Buddhism, something important for General Studies paper under the main section of General Studies, that is Indian culture, will cover the salient aspect of art form, literature, architecture from ancient to modern times. So India is set to host the first ever, this is a maiden global Buddhist summit, which India is organizing from April 20 to 21 in New Delhi. And the maiden conference will organized by the Ministry of Culture. The name of the ministry is important. There can be a direct question for many other government examination also. So Ministry of Culture is the one. And the International Buddhist Confederations will discuss the contemporary global issues through the Buddhist perspective. The conference themed as responses to contemporary challenges from philosophy of parallaxes, that will be inaugurated by the Prime Minister. Now, some theme that has been already shortlisted, the fourth theme, that is Buddha, Dharma and Peace. Right? Buddha, Dharma, Environment Crisis, Health and Sustainability, Preservations of Nagaland Buddhist Tradition, and last is Buddhist Pilgrimage, Living Heritage and Relics. Now, more about the conference, see what are the part that will be included and the discussion will be made. So the conference aim to find solutions जहाँ पे जो problem है like climate change, poverty, conflicts and other parts will be taken into consideration by exploring Buddhist teaching and practices, right? The 2-day conference will bring together the prominent Buddhist leaders around the world, and almost 30 countries will participate. And one thing to be noted that Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader, is not participating in this conclave, right? And the 170 delegates which is there, it's coming out from Mexico, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Japan, and India will participate in summit in the national capital. Now the other news, that is how coastal species are living on the plastic debris in the ocean. Something important for General Studies paper 3 under the subtopic, that is environmental pollutions, degradation and EIA. So from here you can expect a question in the prelims examination, because UPSC tend to ask a question where something at global level is also impacting the environment. So according to our latest study, it found that the marine element are usually live in the coastal area in the West Pacific Ocean and are found living or also reproducing on the plastic debris on the Great Pacific Garbage Path. I think most of you must be aware of this location. So this is the location, Great Pacific, there's a garbage path, which is called 46% of the total mass made from discarded of the fish gears. And study which was published basically in the part of the Britain magazine, it says that is among the first document that has created for the artificial floating habitat for coastal marine in the open sea, right? So this research was concluded by Lindsay Harm and et al. और भी members थे जो उनके साथ थे. And the title of this study is Extent and Reproductions of the Coastal Species on the Plastic Debris in North Pacific Subtropical Gyre and the part of the Nature Evolution, right? So the study was published in peer-to-peer review in British journal known as Nature, Ecology and Evolutions. Now, Great Pacific Garbage Patch की अगर बात करें, there are some water currents that drives the part of the Coriolis force, forms loops and even called as gyres, right? So the North Pacific subtropical gyres is one of such. This is located in the basically north of the equator in the Pacific Ocean. So make sure you check the map work because there can be a question from map work also. Now it consists of Kurisho, North Pacific, California and North Equatorial currents that move in the clockwise direction. So mind you, this is a clockwise, not anti-clockwise. Sometimes a direct question is also asked. Now the current flow adjacent to 51 Pacific Rim countries, and any basically any trash that enters in this current from any other countries could be the part of the guides. Now finding of the studies की अगर बात करें जो specific studies की गई हैं उस organism पे ऊपर, so they found that the Japanese coast in 2011 have contributed to the debris in the garbage patch. And until 2017, the researcher has found that the debris washed ashore of the west coast in the North America contain the life form were originally found in Japan. Now, since 2018 and 2019, the researcher had collected 105 pieces of plastic debris, and these were on the part of the North Pacific subtropical gyre, and other part also include which is there across the global level in the specific region of the North Pacific. The study reported that 98% of the debris item has been invertebrate organism. This is again a point to be noted. All organisms are mostly invertebrates. Now they found that it's a pelagic species, that species of open seas, which is like the present 94.3%, and the coastal species is 70.5%. So these are the data out of the Pacific Oceans. Now, where this organism where and the organism were formed. So according to the paper, nearly taxa were of Northwest Pacific origin, including Japan, and the researchers found that 68% of the coastal taxa means taxonomy, and by taxonomy you can understand the part of the animal species and diversity which is there, right? So this basically called for diversity. About 33% of the pelagic taxa reproduce asexually, and evidence of the sexual reproductions among the hydroids, crustaceans, and other part of the organism. These are the families of the marine ecosystem. If you want more, you can just search out, but I'll suggest to stick on some of the relevant points only. Now, the report suggests that most positive correlations between the reproductions and mobility. Now, moving to the other news, G7 nations to reduce global GHG emissions. Something relevant for General Studies Paper 2, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. So G7 Climatic Change Energy Environment Ministry meeting was recently wrapped. It was held at Sapporo in the agreement. This is there in Japan. I think we had a discussion yesterday also, but the final meeting has been concluded. Those of you who are having PSIR as an optional, for those students, these type of agreement is very important, right? And it has expanded that the wind power will reach out by all other countries by 2030. Now, G7 nations meeting was reluctant to endorse the 2030 deadline, although so reluctancy dekhi gayi hai. Let's see when we are achieving down the line 5 plus minus No, definitely it's not before, but it can increase by 5 years. Now, targets की अगर बात करें, G7 countries set an urgent need to reduce the global greenhouse gas, जो GHG है उसको reduce करने की बात की गई है by 43% to 2030 and 60% to 2035 and 1.5% Celsius to the most recent IPCC report. Now, the G7 countries commit a fully predominantly carbonized part of the power grid as no later than 2035 and accelerate the phase out domestic unvetted coal power. The meeting also called for increasing the deprivations of the gas, coal, fossil fuel, and limit temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius of the pre-industrial level. Now, if you see the part of the renewable energy commitment, definitely renewable energy boost is mandatory और G7 के members countries ने भी इसे recognize किया है and they have said that this can be a breakthrough when we'll come to the part of solar and wind energy, looking for a massive part of the development in which is clean energy in the form of solar and wind energy. The members will collectively increase the offshore wind capacity to 150 gigawatt by 2030 and solar power की अगर बात करें तो 1 PV that is 1 terawatt की बात की गई है terawatt by 2030. The ministers also agreed to accelerate the phase out unvetted fossil in the part to achieve the net zero emissions by 2050. Now, when you see the part of India, the net zero emissions target which India has set is for 2070. Now, promoting ammonia co-fencing. So, Japan attempts to promote the ammonia co-firing and basically the part of the clean energy power sector. And Asia is among the zero emissions community was regarded as a part of the rest of the group. So this was degraded as a part. And Japan strongly objected ending the coal full carbonizations or the decarbonization of the power sector by 2035. So this is the part which will be taken care of. And even Japan is also looking forward to set the target and it will achieve it at the earliest. Now, moving to the other news, terror of narco network, something important for general studies paper 2 under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first talking about the theme and focus is about the narco terrorism. First we'll see the background and some important part, then illicit trade via maritime route, India की क्या vulnerability है, and the use of darknet, how it is being used to promote the crime and the part of the narco terrorism and the way forward. So if you see the part of drug trafficking, अगर definitions की बात करें, global illicit trade है which involve for cultivations, manufacturing, distributions and the sale of the substance which are the subject to drug prohibition laws. India have a laws but still not that strict. We have the NPTX Act. बहुत सारे ऐसे act है जो govern करती, but definitely we need some stringent act. The narcotics trade is assuming dangerous proportions all over the world, and it's a social problem harming the youth, families, and the money it generates divert to the destructive purposes, and even it called to promote the terrorism and compromises the national security. The issues has been kept with the security agencies, law enforcement agencies, and even they have made basically the part of the trade had made the security agencies anxious to control it. Now, if you see the part of the map, what is a problem and how does it exist? So India is locations में अगर बात करें, दो important location, one is the Golden Crescent, another is Golden Triangle. इन दोनों के बीच में इंडिया फंसा हुआ है. This is like India in the middle of it, right? If you see the part of the Golden Crescent countries, it include Iran, Afghanistan, and Pakistan. And if you see the Golden Triangle, the country include Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam. So ये discuss की गई है that India is sandwiched between these two locations. And I've told you the country part, right? So these are the name. There can be a direct question in the prelims examination asking about the countries of the part of the Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle. Now, nearly 90% of the world demand come from the region, these two regions, and India is a big market for transit route and other countries also. Now, illicit trade via maritime routes की अगर बात करें, definitely this is a route which has been activated and most problem area which is most prone is Jammu and Kashmir region, right? So the use of drone is there in Punjab. Punjab is also like close to that location only, the border areas. वहाँ पे लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसीज ने पाया कि ड्रोन की मदद से भी कुछ लोग इस तरह की चीज़ों को अंजाम दे रहे हैं. The Indian Coast Guard is like on the conjunctions with the intelligence agencies to seize the part of these frequency which is taking place, and an achievement has also been made. Almost 25 or like say 2500 kgs of narcotics drugs were actually seized in due course of time. And it has also developed that apart from the internal security agencies, India ने collaborate किए दूसरे countries के साथ, which include Sri Lanka, Maldives and Bangladesh. So these are the three countries which India has collaborated with, and money generated with the part of the narcotics called for illicit trade, which is phenomenal and very high. The illegal money that is used for terror activities and sponsored by the ISI. Now, India की vulnerability की अगर बात करें, India has surprisingly also become hot destinations for cocaine and the supply which controlled by the South America drugs cartel. Recent investigations have revealed connections with the cartel with NRI, Canada, Australia, Singapore, Hong Kong, and several European countries along the local drugs lords and gangster in India. Now, use of darknet is again important, significant with the upgradations and the part of technology. You can see that the study has revealed 62% of darknet is being used for illicit drug. और ये एक market बन चुकी है where the drug market है, and they are finding it a platform to sell, and where there's low risk and it's more easy to sell out. Now cryptocurrencies में payment होती है, doorstep deliveries हैं, and even the courier services are also there as a part of darknet transition, right? Darknet something, a business which is kept secretly. Now concentrated coordinated efforts are needed to ensure and tackle this problem. And in January-February, Narcotics Control Bureau has busted a racket of the darknet vendors, arrested several Indian nationals. Now, what can be the way forward for this problem? It is a problem not only for India, but at the global stage also. And the law and government enforcement agencies basically have to come up with a number of steps to address the challenges. And in this, the first important is to strengthen your law. A strong law which call for strict rules and regulation is a mandatory. And center must also strengthen the border security, specifically for the region of Punjab and even for Jammu and Kashmir, and increase surveillance on the intelligence gathering, increase penalties for drug trafficking and related crime activities. The nexus between the terrorism and organized gang underworld in a new disturbance trend, which has to be tackled effectively by the security agencies. So these are the things that need to be taken care of, and once incorporated, definitely in a longer run, in a milestone achievement, India can have a part of full-fledged control over this illicit trade. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option was C. For second question, the correct option was A. Today's MCQ for practice, GER portal has been recently launched by which among the following organization? You have to check for the correct option, which among the following is correct one, and mark the correct. Second is One District, One Product. It was launched by the state government of Tamil Nadu and later adopted by the union government. It was launched by the Ministry of Food Processing in 2018. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more question will give you an added advantages over the upcoming prelims examination. So this was all about for daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.